Good evening and a very warm welcome to you. You're watching Eye on Africa here on France 24. Here's the headlines on the continent tonight. South Africa buries its Zulu queen, and hours later the monarchy names her son, Prince Zulu, as her successor. Rwanda in talks to establish the first mRNA vaccine factory on the continent. President Kagame says it could be a game changer in the fight against COVID-19. And also coming up, the impact of the Bitcoin ban in Nigeria. We'll meet business people alarmed by the decision to suspend transactions in the virtual currency. Thanks for joining us, and we start tonight's programme then in South Africa, where the Zulu monarchy have now named the heir to their throne. It is to be Prince Zulu. He's the eldest son of the former king and queen, both of whom died earlier this year. The Queen, in fact, was buried today. Now, the Zulu monarchy does not have any formal constitutional power in South Africa, the monarch's role being more of a ceremonial one. So, how significant is today's decision? Earlier, I asked our Cape Town correspondent, Sam Bradpiece.
Well, Prince Zulu is the oldest son of Queen Mantfombi. He's the oldest surviving son of the late King Goodwill Zwelithini. What do we know about him? Well, for a start, his name, when literally translated, means strengthening the Zulus, which is something that the royal family really does need right now. The passing of Queen Mantfombi, who was buried at a private ceremony in KwaZulu-Natal today, KwaZulu-Natal being the homeland of South Africa's Zulu population. The passing of her, she was the third senior Zulu royal to die in the space of less than a year, because, as I mentioned beforehand, her husband, Goodwill Zwelithini, he died, well, not long ago either. The Queen had only been serving as Queen for just over a month, really. And before that, back in November, the oldest son of the king was murdered in Johannesburg. Now, what you need to remember about the recent passing of the Queen is that the royal family have come out and expressly denied the fact that the allegation, I should say, that she was poisoned. And the reason they had to come out and deny this is because there is undeniably a bit of a power struggle going on within the Zulu royal family at the moment with regards to who will succeed the Queen. It's recently been announced through her will that it will be her oldest son, Prince Zulu, and he will be hoping to restore really some kind of authority and put an end to what appears to be, from an outsider looking in, some kind of power struggle, really, to control not only the crown, but also, importantly, what goes with that, which is a $4.9 million annual budget.
It was Sam Bradpiece speaking to me a little earlier. Now, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Zoe Kabila, the younger brother of the former president Joseph Kabila, has been impeached and removed from his job as the governor of Tanganyika province. Members of the Provisional Assembly there accused him of mismanaging public funds. His removal is seen as a victory for the president, Felix Tshisekedi, and a means for him to consolidate his power in the south of the country. Clement Bonnereau, our reporter, has more from Kinshasa.
When Zoe Kabila became governor of the eastern Tanganyika province in 2019, he had grand ambitions, hoping to turn his family's stronghold into a mining and industrial hub. During the first 2 years of his term, he launched several major infrastructure projects, including roads and hydroelectric dams, all the while touting himself as an ambitious and visionary leader. Members of the Provincial Assembly, however, thought otherwise. On Thursday, 13 out of 25 MPs voted to oust him, accusing him, among other things, of incompetence and of the mismanagement of $1.9 million of public funds. It's worth noting that the vote took place while Zoe Kabila was in Kinshasa, thus denying him the opportunity to explain and defend himself. Allies of the former president, meanwhile, have denounced an illegal and politically motivated vote. Zoe Kabila was the last of DR Congo's 26 governors not to have declared support for President Felix Tshisekedi, the head of state who now controls an overwhelming majority of seats in the National Assembly, in the Senate and in provincial assemblies across the country. This after ending a coalition government with his predecessor back in December.
Let's go to Rwanda for you now on the programme, where negotiations are underway to manufacture coronavirus vaccines in the country. It would be the first vaccine factory of its kind in Africa. Supporters, including Rwanda's president, say manufacturing in-country would dramatically speed up vaccinations. France 24's Shirley Sitbon explains how it would work.
This is where many of the vaccines anxiously expected in African countries have been produced. In India, the world's largest vaccine exporter. The COVAX mechanism is supposed to deliver millions of them to the world's poorest populations. But the alarming COVID crisis in India has disrupted exports. African countries blocked with almost no vaccines because of the international race to get them are now even more vulnerable. It's in this context that Rwandan President Paul Kagame said his country is in talks with vaccine producers who could set up a factory in Rwanda.
So long as Africa remains dependent on other regions for vaccines, we will always be at the back of the queue whenever there is scarcity.
How quickly can such a factory be built? Rwanda isn't one of the 5 countries the World Health Organization cites as those currently capable of producing vaccines, because they already produce them for other diseases.
We already make vaccines for human use in 3 countries in Africa. We make animal vaccines in something like about 7 or 8 countries in Africa. It can be done.
Waiving IP rights on COVID-19 vaccines could help kickstart production quickly. All this while urging all of those who have access to vaccines to send them to where they're most urgently needed.
Shirley Sitbon for us there. Now, by now, most of us have heard of cryptocurrency, the digital currency taking the financial world by storm. But not everybody's a fan. The Central Bank of Nigeria banned transactions in the virtual currency 3 months ago, citing concerns about money laundering. But millions of Nigerians had already invested in currencies like Bitcoin, and they say the bank's decision is hampering local business. Our team on the ground has this report.
In 1 year, Michael Widari invested nearly $5,000 in cryptocurrencies. He reinvested his profits in projects like the school. But now the businessman says he is trapped because the central bank prohibits the conversion of virtual currencies into naira, which it accuses of financing terrorism or money laundering.
Like now, I'm paying my staff salary from it. And since it has been banned, I've not been able to gather money, make money to pay my staff. Now, another month is ending now, of which I will have to pay a reasonable amount to them.
Many companies like Patricia Technologies have built their success since 2017 on the very strong growth of these digital currencies. Chris Okafor's team is working round the clock to secure the wallets of their 1,000 clients. Many accounts have been frozen. Some Bitcoin holders are panicking and hope for a quick turnaround from the CBN, the central bank.
This ban just puts, a lot of things on hold, a lot of things in perspectives, and, it's going to affect the local economy because this is what a lot of young people have come to use on a daily basis.
More than 50 million Nigerians have already made a transaction in the virtual currency for an average amount of 82 euros. In this country where the national currency is unstable because it is regularly devalued, cryptocurrencies are attractive for their simplicity as much as for their potential gains. But the central bank's decision to shut down Nigerian banks opens the door to embezzlement as there are no more intermediaries.
People who trade in Bitcoin have gone underground and they're doing what they call P2P now, which is person-to-person transactions. That hasn't been 100% okay because some of them are complaining about fraudsters and so on, because they are dealing with someone without an exchange in between.
Nigeria traded 330 million euros worth of cryptocurrency in 2020, the third highest volume after the US and Russia.
And finally, it is believed to be a new world record. A Malian woman has given birth to no less than 9 babies. Now, they were born via caesarean section in a Moroccan hospital on Tuesday, where mother and babies are now receiving specialist care. Claire Rush has the report.
It appears to be the first time on record that a woman has given birth to 9 surviving babies at once. The non-uplets, 5 girls, 4 boys, are doing well, as is the mother, 25-year-old Halima Cissé from Mali. The newborns remain in intensive care, the smallest weighing just 500 grams, jumping only to a kilo for the biggest. Malian health officials sent Cissé to this clinic in Casablanca, Morocco, to receive special care for her exceptional pregnancy. The new father is thrilled.
Mes sentiments sont les mêmes que pour tous les Maliens, il faut le dire. C'est la joie qui est partagée par tout un chacun. Et il faut le dire, c'est le bonheur. Nous demandons au Tout-Puissant vraiment qu'il nous assiste.
Cissé had initially been expecting 7 babies. Ultrasounds failed to spot the additional 2. Cases of women successfully carrying septuplets to term are rare. For non-uplets, it's even rarer.
السيدة هذه دونك جاها المرحاض بعد 30 أسبوع ديال الحمل دونك الطاقم الطبي قرر باش يدير لها عملية قيصرية. العملية القيصرية عطاتنا 9 توائم كنا منتظرين 7 تفاجئنا ب9 الحمد لله مزيان.
The Guinness Book of World Records is verifying the birth. Its previous record for most living births at once is 8, born to an American woman in 2009.
Well, that wraps it up for Eye on Africa this evening. Thank you for watching. The news continues on France 24 in just a moment.